All right, welcome to Real Talk with Kimberly Majette. Today we want to talk about the personal side of real estate, right?
Yeah, I know we were talking about what to talk about this week, and I
Yeah.
think we've been talking about, the stories that you've had with your clients and how they've impacted you and how you've impacted their lives because,
Yeah.
like you've been talking about, real estate transactions aren't just transactions. They can really be
Yeah.
a whole journey, a whole process. So I think you wanted to talk about some stories, right, that you've had with
Yeah.
clients that are really personal to you.
Yeah, so it's funny. They say as a listing agent, you become a divorce attorney, and as a buyer's agent, you become a wedding planner. I guess is kind of how it's been. But it's true. I guess sometimes I've been accused of underpricing homes. Sometimes in certain neighborhoods, but I think what people don't necessarily always see is the whole side of things.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times why people have chosen to hire me is I'm very, very professional, which I think you've come to know, and a lot of my clients have come to know. But price isn't always necessarily people's top motivation. Of course, I always want to get every penny that I can for all my clients. That is, of course, our goal. That's why we market as much as we can. Marketing is, even during COVID, when houses were literally selling themselves, right? You sometimes, I hate to say it, didn't necessarily need an agent, but we always staged our homes. We spent as much as we could on marketing. But price isn't always necessarily people's top motivation when it comes to selling homes. We help a lot of people through divorces sometimes. Sometimes there's family illness. And sometimes, when I meet with couples or families, and I always ask them what is their motivation, and sometimes they need a quick sell, and there's a lot of times where sensitivity is, it's important. Let's start over. Yeah. Sometimes it's price isn't necessarily they need a quick sell, and they sometimes I'm dealing with a husband and a wife or family members where they can't be in the same room.
Yeah, which makes things very interesting.
Yeah, it makes it very difficult. And when you're dealing with emotions that are running high, sometimes we can be on market for a long time, and it's, hey, we'll sit on market till we get the best price. But sometimes we need a quick and dirty sale. And so there is a personal side to real estate.
Yeah, and it can be painful to be in that process. So yeah, like you said, like the quickest way to get out of that, for the best price, that's what you always try to do.
Yeah.
And it's really cool that my first transaction, my first client at the group was Joe, which he had some family issues and stuff, but he, like you even said, like, this is going to be an emotional one, like you just got to make sure that we have grace with him, and we make sure that this process is as easy as possible for him. And I think we did that. I mean, I think we did that really well, making sure that he felt comfortable with everything. We called him all the time. We talked a lot with him.
Yep.
And now he's one of our friends.
He is one of our friends. And I think there's two things that come with that. One is accessibility, right? We were very accessible to him, whether it was me personally or you. You were fantastic, right? We actually went and met with him where he was emotionally and physically, right? And then the other thing on that is confidentiality. Right? Where a lot of times, and I think that's where, you look at kind of my Facebook page, or you look at, I'm a very private person, and one, that's just who I am naturally. But also I think that's intentional for my clients. I think that they know that they can trust me.
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. And we always post about our clients, if they're okay with it, this is this person, but it's never any farther than that.
Right.
It'll be like, this person wanted to buy a house in here, but it's never going to be, this is why this person needed this, because that's personal, and that's something that clients definitely rely on you to be confidentiality, right?
Confidentiality. So,
and I think we're always asking clients if they're comfortable with our marketing and everything, making sure that because sometimes it's cool to see other people's stories, you know?
Right.
Like if they're okay with it, it is cool to see like, you know, how they went through the journey and how we were able to help them and everything. And, you know, I think that's what we did with Joe, and he was, you know, part of our videos and stuff too.
So cute. What did he say when he did one of our videos for Megan?
Megan Fox. I look like Megan Fox. People tell me I look like Megan Fox. That's a Love is Blind reference.
Yes. What did he say? He was so funny. He was like, "Is this normal?"
Yeah, it's normal with us.
So funny. But you know, there is a confidentiality where sometimes it's not always fun. Mm-hmm. Right? You know, we're in a couple situations right now where it is very awkward, and it is. But I think that the reason they've hired us is because they know that you know, what they tell us isn't going to go anywhere. It's not going to end up.
Their business isn't going to get aired out.
It's not going to. It's not going to get aired out, and
yeah, for sure. I think for us, you know, I think what I've learned is that we're very good at like being empathetic about certain situations, and you know, like you said, we're dealing with a couple of those situations right now, and it's all about just meeting the clients where they are, and just being graceful with them and listening, but still also making sure that we get what we need to get done for them.
Correct.
Which I think is really cool to see you like have that balance, because you know you talk to them all the time. You know, like you call them 10 times. Well, not 10 times, but you know you right. Make sure that you're in constant communication with them to make sure they know like you're here no matter what. Yeah. You know, like if they need a few days to make a decision, that's fine. Like just, you know, as long as you're continuing contact with them, that's what I've noticed is like continuous contact is so important, because you don't want them to just feel like you're leaving them high and dry. You know, like what's going on? What's Kimberly doing? You know? So that's something that I've noticed about like how you work with clients as well as like the constant communication, which is obviously very important in any situation. So.
Well, it's funny. I had referred a client of ours out to another agent simply because I don't service. So I get a little frustrated with agents that won't refer out. Right. So, you know, I could have helped them, technically, but I wouldn't have been servicing our clients because they're just not in the area. Yeah. So, you know, will I get a service fee or referral fee? Yes. Will I get the full commission? No, but I wouldn't have been servicing them properly. And so agents that don't refer out, I think, are doing clients a disservice.
For sure. Yeah.
So I followed up with our clients and just said, "Hey, how's it going?" And it kind of broke my heart because she said, we're just not getting the communication that we should be. And that breaks my heart. That's frustrating because it's not that hard to follow up.
Not at all. No.
You know, and she said, "You've just spoiled us with your communication." So, you know, and I know what she's referring to because that agent's not following up with me. And, you know, and it's just, with anybody. And so it is frustrating when agents don't follow up. And this is, you know, her father had passed away, and so she's selling her dad's house. And so that's, again, goes back to the personal side of it, because, you know, that is an emotional process, right? And so again, what we do is, you know, how we are constantly trying to build net worth for our clients. And there is such a, you know, we just had Katie on the other day, and we're talking about building wealth. And like, that is such a big part of this for my job. And I believe greatly in helping my clients build their net worth, and it's all about money, right? Right. Yeah, but on the same time, it is very personal because what we do is emotional. Whether, again, it's, you know, illness in families, or, you know, there is such a personal side to this. And when agents disconnect, and that's where I think it comes back to what we call commission breath. Right, where you have agents that truly just push clients through for, you know, just trying to get to the closing day where they get their commission. And I hate that side of this.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I feel like a lot of people think about when they think about real estate agents. It's just them wanting the money, them wanting to get the commission, and it's really nice. And I think that you reiterated a lot, like over the media, that clients and people need to be looking for agents who actually care about them and not just themselves.
The commission.
And that's literally, you know, what we've been talking about. And that's what's the most important is, like, that's why you need to interview agents too,
interview your agents 100%. Yeah,
have like at least an hour-long conversation.
Correct.
Just kind of like getting to know each other and getting to know the situation
Yeah.
and how they're going to be able to help you. Like, that's a very important thing. And it's really sad that some agents just don't care enough.
Yeah, well, and I don't know if it's a lack of care or it goes back to a lack of education. Again, it goes back to that initial, when I meet with a client, first thing I do, and we've done videos on this, right? Like, your consult should not be a 5-10 minute consult.
Yeah.
Because if it is, then I have to go back to what's the agent's motivation, right? Is it just, hey, let's quick and dirty, like, let me get my commission, let me figure out, sign with me and be done, right? We've done reels on those. 5-minute agent, right? So your agent should be trying to figure out what is your motivation, right? What is your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? Because everybody has real estate goals.
Yes.
And is it to try and hit top dollar, which obviously we always want the most money. But again, there's other motivations too, that you have real estate goals. And when I meet with a client on a listing appointment or a buyer consult, I always meet in person. Yesterday, I left here and did a buyer consult in person.
Yes.
And it wasn't just to get them to sign with me. Of course, I want them to sign because to me, I want their commitment and I'm going to give them my commitment. But I also wanted to know what their goals were. I wanted to meet them, meet their family, meet their children.
Yes.
And if an agent isn't willing to do that, one, they probably don't know what they're doing. And they probably have commission breath.
Yeah. And there's a huge difference between a phone call and meeting in person. You always try to meet people where they are.
Yeah.
And that's what I noticed. Like, oh yeah, you want to go do a listing appointment at the Panera over here? I'll do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want to meet you in person, see you, meet your family, see you face to face. I want to see your eyes. And yeah, a listing appointment should not be 5 minutes.
No, and it makes a world of difference.
100%.
And I hope it makes the client feel more comfortable knowing that, you actually want to hear what they need out of this transaction, the situation. So, well,
and it goes back to, right now, I think what we're seeing is a lot of agents that are dropping out of the industry. And therefore, in order to get listings, I'm seeing it on, real estate masterminds, they're discounting their commission.
Yeah.
Because they're so desperate for listings. And so, of course, that's your first go-to. Right. And, I would just have to say, like, if that's, and then, of course, I'm sure it's very appealing for sellers.
Oh.
So if you'll have an agent that'll do it for 1%, well, heck yeah. But, you have to think, like, if they're willing and their only negotiating tactic, right, is to negotiate their money away, and that's the only value they have, that's what they're going to do when it comes to negotiating your money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? And again, let's take it back to the personal side. If they don't know your motivation and they don't take the time to get to know you and get to know what your motivation is, and they don't, they're not taking the time to get to know you, get to know what your process is.
Yeah.
They have commission breath, whether it's, a 3% or 6% or 1%, they're just, it's sad. They don't know what they're doing.
And who knows if they're going to give you the best possible outcome because of that.
100%.
Like, there might be a whole other house or a whole other thing that you could have been looking at.
Correct.
And you would never know.
You'd never know.
Because they never took the time to understand what your goals were.
Yeah.
And that is literally the most important thing.
Right.
It's the most important. Like, yes, obviously we run a business and we want to make sure that,
right,
the business side is taken care of, but it's really about making people feel comfortable, making them feel like their needs are met,
right,
and they are the happiest that they can be at with the situation.
Well, and they're not being serviced if they're just, in and out, right? Just in and out. Because any agent that's just doing 1%, they're not running a business, and it's not a sustainable business.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're not really a client at that point.
No, I mean, it's just
you can't be.
No, you really can't.
Yeah.
Like, there's no relationship.
Correct.
At all. And that is something that I think is very valuable just in general, is like having that relationship with our clients. And, like the communication outside of the, the contract too, like outside of the, once the closing happens, like following up, making sure that they're happy and
100%.
It's like, like you talk to Joe and making sure that he's comfortable with his new home and everything, and like that everything's going well, and he's met a few new friends.
Right. Yes. Yes.
So important, like now he has a lot of people to surround himself with. That, he can go do stuff with. Yeah. And that's another big part of it.
Well, and that transaction's closed, but we still answer the phone when he calls.
Of course.
Yeah, we do anything for him.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna be like, he's
right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's never gonna happen.
He's become family. So
exactly. Well, I'm glad that, people get to see that personal side, because everybody, when they think about real estate, when they think about any kind of business, they only think about that side of it. And there's a whole very important other half to it.
Well, and I hate the reputation that realtors have given ourselves, right? And realtors have given bad realtors or good realtors, really, for that reason. And it does go back to commission breath, right? Because I think I'm a good realtor. And I know a lot of good agents that do truly care about our clients. I mean, I know my clients can get me at any time. And I think, we go above and beyond for our clients. And I know a lot of my agent friends that do. And I just wish that people would take the time to interview and find the good agents, because there are good agents out there that truly care. And I heard a statistic the other day. I think it's some 87% of people are dissatisfied with their agent at the end of the transaction. 87%. That's huge.
Big amount.
It is. It really is. You know what I mean? And it's disappointing. And I think that if people would do their due diligence and do their service up front, and I think the reason is because I think people don't know what to ask.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think most of the time that it's people just take whoever they're referred to, or which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But you just don't know. You don't know who to go to, or you find somebody online, and it's like you hire the first person that sits in front of you, and you don't. How many homes have you sold? What area do you service? I see agents that they are, people sell $1 million home, and we look up their numbers and they've never sold a $200,000 house.
Yep.
And the marketing is shit. Forget my language, but it's awful.
Yeah.
Or we're on the other side of these transactions, and we can't get the agent because they're a part-time agent, or they're asking us for contract advice. And I'm just like, you are seriously representing this client and you have no idea what you're doing.
No, and like you've mentioned so many times, this is the biggest transaction that you're ever going to have in your life.
And I don't care if it's a $200,000 house or a $2 million house.
Yeah.
And so it's no wonder people are dissatisfied with their agents. And it's heartbreaking, because there are a lot of good agents out there.
Oh, for sure.
But people just, I think it's lack of ignorance. People don't know what to ask.
And I think the thing that people can take away from this is, like have a list of questions, even if it's just like a few.
Correct.
Just to get to know who that agent is and what they've done.
Right.
Because that can make the world a difference.
Listen, I drive to Huntersville to get my hair done. Okay, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Because
I know that she knows what she's doing.
Yes. Exactly.
Right? I mean, you wouldn't take your car to somebody that, like, I'm trying to think, like, these are, skills, like, I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, you think about, like, when you look for, like you said, a hairstylist or, a nail salon or something like that, like, you look for good reviews, you look for people who have, like, skills and who have people to back them up.
Yes.
And everything, and, like, people that, and loyal clients. That's a big thing.
Loyal clients, not reviews, right? That's a huge one.
Yeah.
It's a huge one. You want somebody that's qualified, But for some reason with real estate agents, people don't ask.
Yeah.
And you're going to run a $500,000 transaction through this person's hands.
Yeah.
And all you care about is the commission.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, you're more willing to pay for your buyer to have professional representation than for you. I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
Right?
That's great.
And at the end of the day, it comes down to you'd rather save, $7,000 than to pay that $7,000 for you to be protected.
Yes. Yeah.
And you don't realize how much money you're leaving on the table. Because truly, at the end of the day, it closes, but you don't know how much money you've actually lost.
No. Yeah.
And how much liability you've opened up yourself to because you have an inexperienced first-time agent and you never see it. That's what's sad. You never see how much liability you've been exposed to.
It's not disclosed. It's like if there's no communication. I mean, it goes back to communication.
Yeah.
Unqualified agents who
correct
don't know what they're doing. They're not going to know proper communication and they're not
proper communication, lack of disclosure, awful negotiating skills, but you never see it because you're happy.
Yeah, you're like, oh well, I sold the house. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
I think you got to think a little bit more about
correct
what because down the line, what it's going to look like.
Right. Yeah.
And you want an agent who actually knows how to do that for you.
Oh, listen, bring those agents on. My clients always do well. Our clients always do well when that agent's on the other side of the table. I'm just saying.
All I'm saying.
So I guess we've kind of veered from the personal side of it, but
I think that they kind of go hand in hand.
They do, sure, yeah.
Because those experienced agents, they don't seem to care. They might care, but they don't show that.
Correct.
So I think that finding an agent who, asks the questions as well, and again, communication, big word.
Communications, yeah, it's key. Yeah, and education, and dedication.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the Asians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh. Well, if you want a list, we have a list of what to ask. Yes. We absolutely do.
Yeah, we have a YouTube video out about what to ask agents, and we can actually make a list and just have it on the.
Yeah, I think we actually already have it. We can email it to you. So reach out. Yeah.
Let us know, comment, or we can put it in our bio.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've covered.
Yeah, that's good. That's fine.
Well, thank you guys for listening.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.